Problems are portals. Why your biggest struggle is actually your breakthrough. What if your problem is actually a door? What if the problem you're facing right now isn't blocking your life at all? What if it's actually a door you haven't opened yet? Most of us see problems as barriers that stop our progress. But sometimes the very challenge that feels frustrating or painful is quietly guiding us somewhere new. So before you push it away, pause for a moment. What if this obstacle isn't here to stop you, but to show you a new path you never expected? Why do problems feel so heavy? Have you ever noticed how heavy problems can feel? The moment something goes wrong, it can feel like the whole world presses down on you. Your thoughts start racing, your mind begins imagining the worst outcomes, and suddenly a small challenge feels like a giant wall standing in your way. But what if that feeling of heaviness isn't because the situation is impossible, but because you're standing right before an important shift? What if you're looking at it the wrong way? What if the problem isn't the real problem at all? What if the real challenge is the way we see it? Sometimes the same situation that looks like failure today becomes the very thing we later thank the universe for. Perspective can completely change everything. So imagine this for a moment. What if the thing you're worried about right now is actually leading you somewhere better than the path you originally planned? The moment everything feels too much. There are moments in life when the pressure feels overwhelming, plans fall apart, unexpected problems appear, and you might feel like you're carrying more than you can handle. In those moments, it's completely normal to feel tired or discouraged. Life can sometimes push us into situations we never asked for, and when that happens, it's easy to believe that something has gone terribly wrong. When plans collapse, you carefully planned your next steps. You imagined how everything would unfold, but suddenly life changed direction. The opportunity disappeared, the relationship shifted, the path you believed in suddenly closed. Moments like these can feel confusing and painful, because when a plan collapses, it can feel like the future you imagined disappears too. But sometimes the ending of one path is quietly preparing space for another. The weight of uncertainty. Uncertainty can be one of the hardest feelings to sit with. Not knowing what will happen next can make your mind restless. You search for answers, signs, reassurance. But clarity doesn't always arrive immediately. Sometimes you have to walk through a fog before the path becomes visible again. And while that fog may feel uncomfortable, it often means you're entering a completely new stage of growth. Why this feels personal. In difficult moments, many people quietly ask themselves the same question: why is this happening to me? It can feel personal, as if life singled you out, as if the universe is testing you or punishing you. But that feeling often comes from not seeing the bigger picture yet. When you're standing inside the challenge, it's hard to understand what it might eventually lead to. The fear of being stuck. One of the deepest fears we experience during difficult times is the fear of being stuck forever. The fear that things will never change. When you're standing in the middle of a problem, it can feel permanent. But life rarely stays the same for long. Every chapter eventually shifts, and sometimes the situation that seems impossible today becomes the very story that shows how strong you really are. When pressure feels like punishment. When pressure builds in life, it can feel unfair, like you're being pushed too far, like everything is happening all at once. But pressure itself is not always negative. In many cases, pressure is what creates transformation. It's what pushes hidden strength to the surface. The same force that feels uncomfortable today may be quietly shaping the person you are becoming. But what if this is not the end? What if the moment that feels like a breaking point is actually a turning point? Many of the most powerful transformations begin when life feels uncertain or difficult. When the familiar path disappears, you are often being guided somewhere new, somewhere that requires a different version of you to emerge. Nature's secret about pressure. Deep inside the Earth, something fascinating happens. Carbon, one of the most common elements, experiences enormous pressure, conditions so intense that most materials would collapse under it. But carbon does something different. Instead of breaking down, it transforms. Nature quietly shows us that pressure doesn't always destroy things. Sometimes it changes them into something far more valuable. Pressure creates diamonds. When carbon experiences extreme pressure and heat over time, it slowly transforms into diamonds, one of the most beautiful and valuable substances on Earth. And the incredible part is this: without that pressure, diamonds would never exist. The very condition that seems destructive is actually the reason something extraordinary is created. The same principle applies to you. This same principle often applies to human growth. The moments that stretch you the most are usually the moments that shape your character. Challenges develop patience. Setbacks develop resilience. Uncertainty develops wisdom. The pressure you feel today might be quietly forming qualities inside you that will become extremely valuable in the future. Problems created every great innovation. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in human history were born from problems. Someone encountered a limitation and decided to solve it. Innovation often begins with frustration. When people face obstacles, they start searching for better solutions, and those solutions eventually change the world. Darkness created the light bulb. The challenge of darkness inspired the creation of the light bulb. People needed a way to bring light into the night. That problem pushed inventors to experiment, fail, and try again until they discovered a solution that changed everyday life forever. Distance created the internet. The challenge of distance inspired technologies that allow people to communicate instantly across the world. The internet was born from the need to share information faster and more efficiently. Once again, a problem became the doorway to an incredible innovation. Limits create breakthroughs. When people encounter limits, they begin searching for new ways forward. Limitations invite creativity. They encourage exploration and discovery. What once seemed impossible slowly becomes achievable because someone decided to look at the problem differently. Problems are portals. So maybe problems are not walls at all, maybe they are portals, a doorway that appears exactly at the moment you are ready for growth. Without the challenge, the hidden possibility would stay invisible. Without the pressure, the next version of you would never be revealed. What looks like resistance might actually be redirection. Life may be guiding you away from what no longer fits, and towards something greater that is quietly waiting on the other side. Pause before reacting. The first step when facing any challenge is simple but powerful. Pause. When problems appear suddenly, our mind instantly reacts with fear, frustration, or panic. But when you pause, even for a few slow breaths, something shifts. The emotional storm begins to calm, and in that quiet space, clarity starts to appear. Instead of reacting from fear, you begin responding with awareness. Sometimes that single pause is enough to completely change how you experience the situation. Create space for clarity. A calm mind has the ability to see possibilities that a stressed mind completely misses. When your thoughts slow down, your perspective widens. Suddenly, the situation doesn't feel as tight or trapped as it did before. You start noticing small opportunities, ideas, or options that were invisible during the emotional rush. Creating space in your mind allows wisdom to appear naturally without forcing it. Ask a different question. The questions you ask yourself shape the direction of your thinking. When you ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Your mind searches for blame and frustration, but when you ask, "What might this be teaching me?" something powerful changes. Your mind begins looking for growth, lessons, and possibilities. A single question can turn a painful situation into an opportunity for awareness. Look for the hidden advantage. Every challenge carries an advantage, even if it's not obvious at first. Sometimes it's a lesson that strengthens your character. Sometimes it redirects you toward a better opportunity. And sometimes it prepares you for something bigger that hasn't appeared yet. When you begin searching for the hidden advantage inside every situation, your relationship with problems starts to transform. Build the muscle of curiosity. Curiosity is one of the most powerful tools for growth. Instead of fearing a challenge, curiosity invites you to explore it. You begin asking questions, noticing patterns, and discovering new ideas. Over time, this habit changes the way you approach life itself. Challenges stop feeling like threats and begin feeling like opportunities to learn something meaningful. Use resistance as training. In many ways, life works like a training ground. Just like muscles grow stronger when they face resistance, your inner strength grows through challenges. Every difficulty builds patience, courage, and resilience. And while those qualities may develop quietly, they eventually become some of the most valuable parts of who you are. Delays can be perfect timing. Sometimes the delay you experience is not rejection. It may actually be protection or preparation. Life often moves according to timing that we cannot fully see in the moment. Something might need to shift, grow, or align before the next opportunity appears. And when you look back later, you might realize that the delay placed you exactly where you needed to be. Trust the transformation. Transformation rarely happens instantly. Just like diamonds form slowly under pressure, personal growth also unfolds over time. Some changes happen quietly within you before they appear on the outside. Trusting the process means allowing life to shape you gradually, even when the outcome is not yet clear. Remember the diamond. Whenever life feels heavy, remember the story of the diamond. The same pressure that seems overwhelming is often the force that creates beauty and strength. Without that pressure, the diamond would never exist. And in many ways, the same truth applies to your journey. Your challenge is a portal. The challenge in your life right now may actually be the doorway to your next evolution. It may be guiding you towards skills, wisdom, or opportunities you would never discover otherwise. What feels like a problem today might become the moment that changed your life in ways you cannot imagine yet. You are stronger than you think. You are far stronger and more capable than you sometimes believe. Every challenge you have already faced proves that strength exists within you. The pressure you feel today is not here to break you. It is here to reveal that strength more clearly. Step through the portal. So the next time a problem appears in your life, pause before calling it an obstacle. Look at it again with new awareness, because sometimes what looks like a wall is actually a portal, a doorway into growth, transformation, and a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and ready for what comes.